What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Philip Michael. Welcome to Ask Philip, a.k.a. Sliding in the DMs, a.k.a. the DM Zone, where I basically answer your DMs about anything from money, life, relationships, and anything in between. So let's get to it. First question. Well, that's a good question. Do all stocks work the same? And I suppose you're asking from the standpoint of, if I invest in something, will it grow the same way? I got this one other DM, which I actually should have included here. It goes, some guy said to me, he goes, where can I get a steady 10% return every month, no risk? I'm like, do you understand there's like 100% per year? 100% return per year. That's not how money works, man. If you get anywhere from a 5 to 10% return, you got something that's solid. Anything above that is absolutely spectacular. Now, if you're asking how stocks work, if they all work the same, in terms of publicly traded stock, you can buy a piece of a company that's out there. They don't all work the same because different businesses make different amounts of money or have different levels of popularity out there in the public marketplace. If you buy into something like Amazon or Tesla, are they going to work the exact same? No, but you're going to get some of the same dynamics because they're well-built, popular companies, and they're growing year over year over year over year. If you're buying a stock, think about a company. Think about a company that has, you break it down into, it has a value of $1 million, and you break it down into 1 million pieces, each worth $1. Get that? 1 million shares worth $1 makes it worth $1 million, which, by the way, is how you can calculate the value of a company. And you buy 100 of those. You now own 100 out of 1 million shares. That's how stocks work. Now, in terms of the growth, again, it all depends and it all differs. In terms of Bitcoin, it's not exactly the same. Bitcoin is, they call it a cryptocurrency. Some consider it a crypto asset. There's a number of Bitcoins out there. You can buy a coin or a piece of a coin, much like stock, with the bet, the hope, the wish that it will go up in value over time. You never buy something hoping that is going to go down. You always want to make a profit. So yeah, from that standpoint, they have the same type of dynamics where it can go up or it can go down based on the supply and demand. The supply is pretty much finite with Bitcoin, but the demand for it, if the demand dips, price dips. If the demand increases, the price increases. It's like one of those things that just ties together. So that's what it is, man. So check that out. That's how it works. Next question. What's up, Erling? I think that's a Danish name. Well, clearly I do answer here because she just wrote me. In terms of in my DMs, they're getting a little flock. So for the sake of efficiency, I take some of the ones randomly. I answer them here because then you have to actually get a more profound, a more in-depth answer to your question because it just takes too much time to just sit there and respond to everything. But yes, I do respond here. If you really want to get with me on a chat level, you have to go into my tribe because that's where I do DMs. So it's not on Instagram. It's not necessarily on Facebook. It's on my tribe. If you're on my Instagram, it's the link in my bio. That's where I answer it, and that's where we do DMs, and I do all sorts of DMs, answer all sorts of DMs. I'll be a chat buddy. We could be pen pals, whatever you want to do. But that happens in there, no longer on Instagram because it's blowing my mind. You want to do it on Instagram, you have to talk to me here as I'm doing. So yes, the question is yes, I do answer. Next question. All right, how can you invest in the U.S.? It's one of those things where I'm not in Paraguay. I've never been. I'd love to go. I hope to go. I'm sure I will, but I haven't yet. So I don't know the country, let alone its regulations, its banks, its businesses, and so on and so forth. But typically, what you can do is you go to a local bank and you ask your bankers like, hey, I would like to invest in American securities, meaning American stocks. In Denmark right now, my dad is over there. He owns American stock. You can do that with your bank. They oftentimes have brokers that work in there that can help you buy pieces of American companies. Worst case, if you have family in the U.S., there may be ways where if they own an investment company, an LLC, and you can have a piece of that LLC and thereby owning a piece of American stocks. But what I would do if I were you, just go directly Monday morning. I don't know. Well, you're in the same time zone as I am. Whenever you see this, go directly to your bank and say, hey, I would like to open an investment account. And when they go, what would you like to invest in? American stocks. They say, well, it's not Paraguay. I say, American stocks. Well, we have these bonds over here. American stocks. You just say that, insist, say, I want whatever you want. If you want Amazon, Tesla, whatever, that's what you ask for. Tell them to figure it out for you because they hold your money. So it's their job to figure out how you can put your money to work. It's not their job to tell you. Well, I suppose if you ask them, it is their job to tell you. But it's not their job to make decisions for you. You make those. So just go to your bank and ask. All right? Cool. Let me know how it goes. Next question. All right, Fredlin, that's a really, really, really good question, because a lot of times I say, yo, go out there and look for properties. You say, where can I look for it? Go on Zillow, go on Redfin, right? And people go there and it becomes overwhelming because there's so many things. You may not know the full context of why something is there. Is it a good deal? Is it not? This and that, the other. But to answer your question, one of the things that you do is, if you're looking for something of a particular size in a particular neighborhood, because you always want to narrow it down to something. You can't just be looking at the total inventory of properties out there. Let's say you live in Atlanta, Georgia. You're looking for 3 family properties to make your first multifamily purchase with an FHA loan, which only requires you to put down 3.5%. Now, what you do is you just look for that, look in a neighborhood that you like, look in a price range that you like. The ways you can find what price range works for you is go to a loan officer. We'll get to that in a second, how you get there. But go to a loan officer, say, hey, I make this much. I have 2 years of W-2s. What can I get pre-approved for, pre-qualified for? They'll give you a number. Let's say they come back with $400,000. Okay, you know your buying power is $400,000. You then look in that range. Now, on the surface, you know ballpark what you can actually buy. So you don't even need to go there. You have an idea. Let's say between $200,000 and $400,000. So you start looking at that range in that neighborhood where it makes sense, something that you know. Boom. Now, what you'll start to find is that a lot of the same agents, if you go on the page, there's a name, the listing agent, right? There's a phone number, there's a form, a quick Google search will take you to their website. Remember, they get paid when you close. So they need a number of leads to come to them. So they will make themselves very, very, very available for you. A lot of times you can just text them. That's what I do. So just text them, say, hey, I am looking for 3 or 4 family properties in the Atlanta area for $300,000 to $400,000. Can you help me? Now, once you've done that, they can then come with properties and they can start touring properties with you, find the right ones. And once they understand your strategy, saying, look, I'm not looking to buy a house. I'm looking to buy something where I can live in one unit and rent out the other 2. They will specifically, because they understand the market. You don't need to delegate something you haven't, you don't need to do something yourself that you haven't mastered. Delegate it to somebody who has. So they'll go do that. They'll find it for you. Next thing you know, they'll find you the properties, and that's a good place to start. So that's what I would do. Just look for the name on Zillow or Redfin. There's a listing agent. If not, go Control F or Command F if you're on a Mac, and just type listing agent or type broker, whatever word. Be resourceful. You will find it. Trust me. And then just hit them up. And you'll find them, and that's a good place to start, and you are well on your way. So I hope that helps. All right, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching Bold Business. I'm your host, Philip Michael. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or anything you want answered here from me directly, just feel free to slide into my DMs at YFWTB or Bold TV. Of course, you can hit us on Twitter also, Facebook, all those places, any social media platform, we are there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm out of here.